institutions. Again, it'll be a new kind of justice system, but on a global scale, not on a country scale. So how does that work if you're a Muslim and you know how they are towards women, and it's legal for you to kill your wife if she's looking at another man? How is that going to work on the global scale if women are considered equal? I don't know. You see where I'm saying I'm not sure how all of this is going to work. And then goal number 17, partnerships for goals, is their last goal, which it's going to be us working with all the other countries to make sure the other 16 goals are enforced. Now, that's for 2030. That's only 11 years from now. Again, there's some things hidden in here. There's going to be no tolerance for guns. Where the whole Second Amendment thing, kiss it goodbye. Again, there's going to be no property. Many people think there's going to be population control going on. In other words, killing off dissidents, killing off people who aren't contributing, maybe killing off people who are disabled.
Well, hey, Dina, what I could think about, all these FEMA camps they built, it's just been sitting, and why did they build so many all across the country? They had something planned, and maybe something caused it not to come down yet, but they are preparing, for something that's going on.
Oh. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, right here in Texas, they had that Jade Helm, where they went on a practice run. The military set up in different cities and went on a practice run and did martial law on these towns for practice. Well, why would you be practicing that if it wasn't going to be real?
Well, too, a lot of people, Mary Joyce, who runs a reporting center, UFO, Bigfoot, Earth Changes out of North Carolina, she told me in North Carolina, up in, on the National Forest, that actually we deeded some property to the UN, and there's NATO troops in there always practicing. And if that's true, I'm just wondering how many American people realize that we gave up some of our own land to, a function of another organization that's not part of our country.
Oh, yeah. Did you also know that the UN has an army and a military police and civil servants? I don't know if you guys know that. Yeah, they do. They have lots of land all over the world. And they have a military. They have a government. I mean, what more do how many smoking guns do you need? It's the stuff that they tout sounds good, especially to the young people. It sounds so, peace, love, no hate. It really sounds beautiful if you're 18 years old.
Oh, yeah.
But if you've been around the block like we have, and you've seen quite a few people skeeve with under false pretenses like that, you got to wonder. This sounds, and can you see for 1 second China following any of this?
Oh, absolutely not.
I can't see them. Can you see half of the countries in the UN following any of this?
Well, actually, even on the news today, they said China is so close to overtaking us military-wise and economic-wise that in the next year or two, they will be more superior than our own country. And a lot of people don't realize that. That's what's going on with our country right now.
No, we are, talk about idiot. We are, I think, in so many ways, some of the we're either stupid or it's intentional because, again, they're trying to get this whole one world government going. And China has been pulling a Adolf Hitler Chinese style for years. They're killing Christians left and right. They're killing different religions left and right. They're they're killing their own kind. Talk about population control. They're going to get that number way down the way that they've been acting. And the news doesn't want to report it, probably because we owe them so much money. They don't want that kind of bad reputation. But some media outlets will report on them. And I know one of my favorite channels is OANN. It's an independent channel that just reports the news. There's no spin on anything. It's just blurting out news segments like the old days, like headline news. And, no commentary. They have some commentary shows, but the ones that I watch is just headline news. What's going on in the world?
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that instead of, the president's a jerk or this person's a jerk or blah, blah, blah. It's none of that. This is what's going on here. This is what's going on there.
Well, it seems like the news in this country is so fixated right now on Trump that when you go on to any news, to find out what the news is, it's Trump, 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 or the wall, to the point, you can't really find out what's going on. But, I will say one thing. The average homeowner that owns or buying their house, I'm willing to bet that the majority of the property owned in this country is held notes by guess where? I'm going to use the word probably China.
Oh, yeah. Or Saudi Arabia is only a couple of percent behind them in what we owe.
Could you imagine what would happen if China tomorrow went up to the Treasury and said, hey, we want to cash all these notes in? We'd be bankrupt so fast, your head would spin.
Yeah.
We couldn't cover it.
Yeah,
we couldn't
they call
cover
them
it.
their markers.
Yeah, we couldn't cover it.
No. And that's going to come. The bubble's going to burst one of these days. This whole debt thing, we can't keep printing money and borrowing from China. We just can't do it. And this, I feel bad for these illegals. I really do. But when they cross that border, the second they cross that border, that's costing us money. That's costing us a lot of money in healthcare, in education, in, of course, our tax dollars, in everything, in property tax. Now you got to, put the kids through the schools. It's very, very, very expensive to have illegals come into this country. It's not a racist thing. It's a money thing. And Trump very badly, touches on this subject. He doesn't do it with any style or any finesse. I don't care for, the stuff that he says, but it's very expensive. And when you're $21 trillion in debt, is this really an expense you want to incur? Or encourage? We don't have any money. We don't have any money for our own people, let alone everybody else who wants to come here. We're broke.
Oh, yeah.
And they're talking about reparations. Well, reparations sounds like a really nice thing, but with what money? We don't have any money. National health care. Okay, so I would love national health care, but with what? We can't really do anything legitly unless we want to owe China some more money until we pay down that debt. And I guess that's what makes me scared. The house that I have a mortgage on, all of the money that I've put into it might be gone once New World Order finally gets going. And, as I was listing those goals, I forgot to mention that the Pope is really, really, really behind all of this. He is so excited about sustainable development goals and 2030, and he, is totally touting it to all of his priests, and they're touting it to all their parishes, and it's not just a global thing. It's now become incorporated in a major religious thing. So this is not something that's just pie in the sky. There have been concrete plans about this whole thing going down for years. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
Well, we're going away from our country is slowly going socialism. And what I'm looking at as a one world dictatorship. That's what you're basically saying. That's what it's going to come down to.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. They have another plan that they just whipped up, mind you, that it's more vague than 2030. It's called Vision 2050. So 2030 is around the corner. 2050 is 31 years from now. You keep hearing about this carbon footprint. Well, in France, that's what all those yellow jackets are so upset about. They're upset about all of this crazy taxes on what looks like absolutely nothing. It's just a scam to tax the people. Well, Vision for 2050 is, again, with this low carbon energy, they want to get rid of carbons altogether. They want people to bike. They want you to get rid of your car. And you know who came up with this entire vision? The UN didn't even do this vision. To the UN's credit, they hired out 29 corporations to come up with the vision for 2050. So if you're a corporation, are you going to include yourself making a lot of money over the next 31 years, or are you going to bankrupt your company in the good of the world over the next 31 years? I mean, come on. So that's where we're at right now, and maybe I'm too worked up about this. I very well could be, but I do not see a happy ending in our near future. I hope I'm dead when the SHTF happens. I hope, but if I am dead, I have kids, and maybe they'll have kids, so somebody from my family will have to pay for this, and it's not going to be good.
I don't think so. And I hate to say it, there's going to be population control long before that. And you know, you're right. I mean, anytime they could sit there and you wake up and you have, let's say, a certain amount of money in the bank, and they could, tomorrow your money is only worth half what it was today. And, you know, it's already to the point, you know, if you go into your bank right now and you want to say, hey, I want to withdraw all my money, you know, they make it almost impossible for you to be able to do it. They start quizzing you if you take out too much money. And also they report it to the IRS too. So, I mean, it could happen. In Germany, you know, when they went through the Depression, you know, you could be a multi-millionaire by our today's standards, and the next day you had nothing. You didn't even have enough money to buy, you know, bread and food for the table. That's what's scary, and it can happen. And, you know, right now, there's nothing to back up our monetary system in this country, or probably every country. Let's face it. If people think Fort Knox is loaded with gold to the amount of our debt, it is nothing there, very little, if any. And that's what people have to realize. It's all numbers on a computer, and we're floating. If me and you did this, we'd be in jail. You know that. If we sat there and does what the government does when it comes to money, you know, you're printing fake money. That's all you're doing is play money.
Well, what was it last year that Wells Fargo had that? What did they call that? They called it some kind of glitch or something. They got hacked and you couldn't withdraw anything. I don't use the Wells Fargo, but I know somebody who uses that for the bank, and you couldn't use the bank for like a few days.
Yeah, what happened?
Got hacked, so to speak.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean half your money disappeared? I don't know.
Well, yeah, it just makes me wonder on that because, you know, again, like our satellites, everything, if anything ever went down, you're not going to be able to pull money out of your bank. What are you going to do when you go try to use your debit or credit card and it doesn't work? And the economy can implode really fast. Hey, we got like 3 minutes left. You want to tell people